Okay. So now we should be streaming this directly to YouTube, so you'll be able to watch this after the fact. Streaming this direct. There we go. So let's dive right into it. Welcome to another webinar. This one is called Low Vision Assistive Technology for Independence. Today is August 28th, 2025. And welcome, everyone. My name is Paul Sanft. I'm an assistive technology specialist and the director of Pacer's Simon Technology Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. Um, Real quick, we have a technology handout that goes with this webinar. It has a list of everything that I'm going to be talking about today. So that you can learn more about those items, links to the websites, prices, and things like that. So that link should now be in the chat. We'll put it in the chat a few more times throughout the webinar in case you arrive late or anything. I'm also going to drop it directly into the chat so that you can download it directly from the chat in case the link doesn't work for you. There's also a QR code on the center of your screen that you can use to access that link from a mobile device to the camera on your mobile device. All right, so speaking of which, this is a Zoom webinar, which means I cannot see or hear you. So we're going to be using the chat. I'll be checking the chat here on my other screen as much as I can, but Elizabeth is helping to answer those questions. She'll direct any questions to me that she can't answer. If you have technical difficulties, anything like that, put those in the chat. And also, this is a very big topic, and I can only cover a small portion of it. So I left out a ton of really awesome tools just for time's sake. And I don't know everything that's out there. I only know just a tiny fraction of what's out there. So we rely on your expertise as well. So share comments, different ideas, different tools that you're aware of. It's always really helpful, and we learn a lot from you guys in the chat when you share that with everybody. So keep that in mind. Also, there is a certificate of attendance that you can get if you are watching this live right now on August 25th on Zoom. 28th, sorry, August 28th. 25th was the last webinar we did. Thank you, Elizabeth. If you're watching this live right now, you can get a certificate of attendance at the end. There's an evaluation that we'll put in the chat. Complete that evaluation, and then a certificate of attendance will be at the end. If you're watching the recording on YouTube, it won't be available. All right. So real quick, I don't want to talk too much about it, but Pacer Center is an organization. If you're not familiar with it, well, you found this webinar on the website likely. But we have three main areas of focus: parent advocacy for children. For parents of children with disabilities. We also have an area of social inclusion, which includes our National Bullying Prevention Center. And then, of course, our area in the Simon Technology Center is assistive technology. And for assistive technology in the Simon Technology Center, we do a lot of different things, including just answering questions about technology, helping you find tools that are that can help you. We do that through consultations that are focused on your goals and needs. We do that through individualized trainings, and we have a lending library where you can check things out completely free of charge for Minnesota residents. Everything that I'm going to be showing today, all of the devices are available in our lending library. So that's helpful. And also some of the apps that I'm going to be looking at are either have free options or a way to use them without cost. So that was an important thing that I was looking at when trying to come up with things to show. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. This is a huge topic. I've left out so many super awesome things. So if I don't cover a tool that you're looking for, reach out to us at the Simon Technology Center. We can help you find more things. There's also other resources I'm going to talk about at the end. But I want to start off talking about some of the built-in accessibility features specifically for vision in both Apple devices and Android devices. I have an Apple iPad and a Pixel tablet, so I'm going to compare those so you can see the differences. Also, I'm going to look at a number of apps, visual interpreting apps that are actually probably pretty popular. You may have heard of before, but I'm going to show and compare the differences because they do a lot of the same things, but there are significant considerations when you look at those. I'll be looking at magnification tools, specifically digital magnification tools in the back that I have here. I'll bring those up in a moment. And then we'll finish with some tools for reading and wearables, including probably the one I'm going to spend the most time on is the Meta AI glasses, which a lot of people ask about and is a really powerful tool. So saving that for the end, though, to keep you hooked, to keep you staying at the webinar the whole time. All right. So I see no questions on the chat yet, so we're going to go ahead and dive right in. So first things first. Let's talk about some tools that are already built in, some settings that are already built into your mobile devices. I'm going to switch over to this screen. I'm also going to turn this on so I can still be in the corner. But actually, maybe that won't work because I move off to the side. Yeah, that won't work. All right, I'm going to disappear from there for a second. All right, so what I have here this is an iPad. And every feature that I'm showing here is also available on iPhones. This does use the most recent version of their operating system, which I think is, I wrote it down. Yeah, 18. Oh, maybe I didn't write it down. Oh, yeah, 18.6. 18.6.2. I think there's actually a point 3 that just came out, but no features and accessibility changed. So anyways, if you're using iPad, Elizabeth and I actually did a more comprehensive accessibility workshop, but we didn't cover just visual tools. So I'm going to go into the settings menu, and you may have to scroll down on the left side, but there is a tab called accessibility. And then on the right side of that, there are a number of different accessibility tools separated by category. The first category is the vision category, and then there's physical and motor, hearing, etc. Some of these features can be found, roundabout through different menus, but this is the quickest way to look into here. So I want to start by looking at probably one of the most widely used tools here for low vision, and that's the voiceover feature. And if I press voiceover, because it says it's off right now, but if I press voiceover, it brings up an additional menu that shows all the different voiceover settings. And there's a lot of different things like the speech rate, commands, different audio thing, navigation styles, and all that. But I just want to show really quick how it works. If you turn it on, I press the button here. I'm going to turn the volume up to make sure the microphone can hear this.
Voiceover on, settings.
And hopefully you can hear that all right. I'm going to move the microphone down just a little bit closer to make sure. Let me know in the chat if you can't hear.
Settings, heading.
It should have just said settings, so hopefully you can hear that. But now if I press on anything on this screen, it will announce that first. So I'm going to press on Bluetooth.
Bluetooth, on, button.
And then if I press somewhere over here.
Speech, button.
I can press onto the left.
Camera, button.
So anywhere.
Control center, display and brightness, home screen and app library, button.
So anywhere I press, it speaks that item. And then if you want to actually activate, like press that button, then you have to press it once to speak it, to have the voiceover come in.
General, button.
And then
general, heading.
And then a double tap to activate that. And that will actually activate that button. So I'm going to go back to accessibility by double tapping it.
Accessibility, button. Accessibility, heading.
And now I can go back into voiceover by pressing voiceover.
Voiceover, on, button.
Double tapping.
Voiceover, switch button, on.
Double tap.
Voiceover off.
And that turned voiceover off. So that's essentially how that works. And it's It's nice. It's easy to turn on. There's a ton of other settings. It's worth going through here if you have an iPhone or iPad, either one. Because what's nice about this is when you click on these other settings, most of the time it does give you a bit of an explanation of what these things are. Of course, not that random one that I picked. So it is kind of helpful and easy to explore on your own. There's also this live recognition setting that I wanted to mention. You can use this. Basically, it turns on your camera, and it uses sort of the built-in device intelligence, they call it, to recognize things, so see things around you. So that's kind of a helpful feature to experiment with. But I want to show you now the differences between VoiceOver in iOS and in Android. For one, in Android, they call it TalkBack. Here, so let me bring this up here. This is a Google Pixel tablet. I'm going to do the same thing where I go into settings. And on the left-hand side, I'm looking for accessibility. This one you have to scroll down a little farther than I did for the iPad. And then in accessibility, the first thing you might see as you're looking through here is they have a lot less accessibility settings, just options. There's less variety. But in here, there's a feature. It's not called VoiceOver. The screen's going blurry. Sorry. It's called TalkBack. And if I press that, and I can turn on TalkBack, it works in almost the exact same way. I have to allow it when I press it. And now TalkBack,
Settings on left, talk back on right. Navigate up. Button.
turn the volume
Double
up.
tap to activate. Media volume controls. Music volume set to 5%.
Okay.
Music volume.
So
Passwords, passkeys, and account. Location. Security and privacy. App security, device lock permissions.
so what
Double
this
tap to activate.
so what this does is it reads everything that's on that button and then it follows it with an explanation how to activate it. So each time I press something, it reads it and then says double tap to activate it. So that's the exact same feature as the voiceover in iOS. But you'll see,
C. Charlie.
but as I scroll through the different options within TalkBack, there aren't as many things that you can do as you can in VoiceOver for iOS. So that's something I think that's important to consider. But I'm going to turn off TalkBack right now by pressing it.
Use talkback. On. Settings on left. Turn off. Talkback off.
There. So I double tapped everything and that turned it off. So this is already built into your mobile device. If you have an Android device, this feature of TalkBack is either already installed in the accessibility setting, or you may need to actually install it through the Google App Store, which is the Google Play Store. And if you have something like a Samsung phone or tablet, for example, Samsung has its own additional accessibility features. So it might look a little bit different in the menu, but this feature is compatible with every Android device. I think that's pretty helpful. And there's a comment in the chat that you can use Siri to turn on VoiceOver. You can also do the same thing with Google Assistant, where you say, "Hey Google," and do that. That's not activated on here, but you can do it. So that is the VoiceOver and TalkBack, the comparisons there. But now I'm going to move on a little bit more to going back to the iPad. And I just want to show really quickly its zoom features because the zoom feature within accessibility on the iPad is kind of interesting. And when you turn it on, and so I'm gonna press the zoom button up there, that will turn it on. Right away, it just zooms in. And to move around the screen so you can see different parts of it, you have to use 3 fingers. And with those 3 fingers, you can move around the entire screen, and it's zoomed in to a certain length or to a certain magnification. I'm going to turn it off for a second and show some of the features that you can do. So, zoom controller. Let's see. Where's the zoom region? Okay, that's what I want to look at. So under zoom region, it says full screen, and what that does is it just zooms the entire screen. But there's another option that's kind of interesting called zoom window. And when I have that activated and turn on the zoom, you see I get this window that I can move around with my finger. It keeps the screen the same size as normal, but it basically creates like a digital magnifying glass that you can move around to different parts of the screen. And that can be pretty helpful if you don't want to mess around with, moving the whole page with three fingers. So that's pretty neat. You can then, of course, if I turn this off, you can change the amount of zoom. Right now, the zoom level is at 5 as the default, but you can go as high as a 15 times zoom or as low as just a 1.2, which is slightly bigger. So I wanted to show the zoom in Android. I like going back and forth like this. Um, in Android, they don't call it zoom because they have to be a little different. They just call it magnification. So same idea, but I click on magnification in the accessibility section. And what I found is it's slightly different to work with. So I'm going to turn on magnification by activating the magnification shortcut. That's actually how you turn it on. And then it gives you an icon on the left that allows you to turn it on and off. And you can move this icon to different spots, but I'm just going to say got it. And then this icon can, as on the left of my screen right now, it's bright pink. When I press it, what it's done, you might not be able to see it on this camera, but it just created a yellow box around my entire screen. And what I can do now is just normal pinching zoom like you would expect on like a photo or a camera. I can just do that to zoom in on things. And to me, that is kind of intuitive for anybody who's already been used to using a smartphone and pinching and to zoom or zoom out. And then everything still works the same with scrolling. You don't have to use the three fingers to move around. It's just pinch and I guess, what do you call the opposite of pinching? But it's that pinch motion is how you zoom in and out. You can also, in the same way that you can have a window, you can have a magnifier window that you can move around just like in iPad. So that can be helpful too. So I just went to settings and change the window size. When you do it to full screen, then it's just the pinch options. And I like that. I actually think that's for me in my use, I find that better than iPads, but it all depends on what system works for you. So that is the zoom and magnification. And then how are we doing on time? Perfect. Voice control and voice access. I think that's an important thing to consider. I'm going to go back to the iPad. And so that with iPad, I'm not going to go through a full demo of this, but voice control can be a really helpful way. It's actually in physical and motor. It's not in the vision section, but it's a great way. If you can't find what you're looking for on the screen, you can use voice control. And so by turning that up, there's a whole voice control tutorial. There's different languages that you can set, so it's not just English. It looks like it has a fair amount. It looks like there's Spanish, Chinese, English, French. I don't see like Hmong or Somali, but I wonder if you could install those potentially. But there is some language control. So it's kind of, I won't go into the details of all that, but I did want to show that that is potentially a great way to control things. Yes, there's Siri. You can ask Siri to do things for you and it works really well. But this just takes it maybe another step further in full control of navigating through things. On, um, on Android, I'm gonna turn off my magnification. Um, on Android, it is called voice access under interaction controls. And it works in almost the same way, has fewer controls and settings that you can change, but it does have some basic things in there. So voice access is the Android version. Feel free to check that out and experiment with it. And then lastly, not lastly. This is not on Android, But the hover type is an interesting feature, and you're going to see it in all the demos that I do with the iPad today. But on hover text, if you turn on hover text within the accessibility settings of iPad, there's an option under hover typing at the very bottom. And if you turn on hover typing, what that does is anytime you type, whether you're typing a text message or typing in a form or an email, it will give you a larger box that shows that text and you control the text color in the background. So if I go into just I'm just going to bring up a text app here. And as soon as I start typing, um, you see at the bottom, hello, sorry, I didn't finish that word. It gives you this big box, high contrast, so you can see what you're typing. In this app, I could have just zoomed in, but this could be really helpful if you're typing a text message into which usually is quite small, those bubbles. So this just pops up every single time I'm typing with the keyboard. So that's kind of a nice feature. Google's or Android does not have that, so I wanted to just show that. And then lastly, there's a spoken content. And Android does kind of have that, but I wanted to show just really quickly before I move on to the next thing, the spoken content, how that works when you have speak selection activated under spoken content on the iPad. I can go to any amount of text, and I have to hold it. And oh, this thing's popping up. I've never seen that. Okay. And I have to select my text. So it does require a little bit of dexterity to highlight that. And then if I hit speak, a little menu pops up above my selection with the option to speak.
Raise a glass. A toast to Pacer celebrates and supports.
And that starts reading the text that I have selected. There is an option to speak the entire screen, and then you get some controls that show up. So if selecting specific text is too hard, which it absolutely can be, speak screen can be a great option. Okay. So that there are more things in here like display and text size, audio descriptions, and actually this motion thing is kind of interesting. You can reduce motion, limit animations, things like that. But any questions on this before I move on? Yeah. Does it return the answer text back to you or just the text you are typing? In this case, that for hover type, it's just the text you're typing. So that's a really important question. So you would want to get some sort of speak selection or have you can ask Siri to speak a text message to you is another option for that. But great question, Darlene. Thanks for that. All right, let's move on because I got a little carried away. And I want to talk about these four different visual interpreting apps. I'm going to go ahead and just bring them up on the screen right now. There are four, they're probably pretty popular. I'm guessing if anybody has been to a low vision training, they've probably seen these. But I want to look at the differences between them. Oh, I need this one. So the first one being Be My Eyes, Ira or Era Explorer. I guess I don't know. I think I've just done Ira and Envision AI and Seeing AI. And before I dive into those, I see one more question. Does Samsung have that last feature? Which feature? I don't remember which one you're referring to. Oh, the hover type. It does not have the hover type and Android. You can still like increase the size of your font, but you can also do that in Apple as well. Oh, and can you use both spoken content and voiceover, or do they conflict with each other? Oh, fantastic question. Well, they wouldn't necessarily conflict with each other because the spoken content you have control over when that speaks. So voiceover, as soon as you tap something, it just reads it. But then you have to select something for that spoken content. So that's important.
Tina was referring to spoken content, not the hover typing.
Oh, the spoken content. Yes, and Android does have a spoken content option. I'm less familiar with it, but let me just dive in real quick. See where it is. Oh, select to speak. So there's a select to speak option in Android as well. When you turn that on, it works in a very similar way. I'm going to say got it. It does give me a shortcut on the side to control that, which I kind of like. And this tablet is just moving on its own. That was weird. Um, so then it gives you a little menu, just like that magnification gave you a menu, and then you have control over that, like playing and stopping and things. So yes, to answer that question rapidly. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit here, and so let's talk about these four apps. They actually do a lot of the same things. And when I talk about visual interpreting apps, what I mean is it uses the camera on your device to then describe or interpret the things that the camera is seeing. And so I'm going to start with Be My Eyes. And the Be My Eyes app, it's a blue square with kind of like looks like an iris in white. But if I press that, um, really quick, you can create an account. This is completely free, but if I just go to the main page and open it up, how this works traditionally is it works with volunteers, a team of volunteers, and you can press this big, huge blue button. It's over half the size of the screen, and it says "Call a volunteer." I'm not going to do that because I don't want to use a volunteer's time when I don't technically need it. But you can press that, and it will call a volunteer who will then have access to your camera and can talk directly to you about what you're seeing and help you answer questions about what they can see on the camera. So that's pretty neat. You can also have groups connected to this, so you can have family or friends, things that you can access through this as well. It's a really awesome thing. They are always looking for volunteers. I see Crystal mentioned that, yes, she's a volunteer. It's great. So definitely consider that. However, I wanted to show that they've recently, I don't know how recently, but they've added an extra feature on the very top. There's a tab that says Be My AI. It's all in the same app. But that brings up your camera and a couple of options to take a picture, and then it will read or describe the things you're taking a picture of. So I have here to demonstrate a fake utility bill from Oklahoma Electric Cooperative. All right, so what I can do is you might not, let me zoom other way, sorry, so you can see a little bit of what I'm doing. It's a little hard in this setup, but so my camera comes on. I try to get the whole document in here. That's an important thing to consider. I have to be able to see where the document is on this app, something we're going to see a little bit later in other apps that they do well. I take the picture. There's a big button for that. And now it's making a noise, just that it's processing it and thinking about it. And in a moment,
An electricity bill from Oklahoma Electric Cooperative addressed to John and Jane Smith at P.O. Box 9.
okay, so now it has transferred everything on here into text and it can read to you.
An electricity bill from Oklahoma Electric Co-op.
It's a very robotic voice, which is potentially fine, but something to consider. But there's also a button on the bottom where you can ask more. And in here, you can then push the call a volunteer. They always make that easily accessible, but you can type in a question, or in this case, I'm going to use the built-in microphone on the keyboard. Something to note, if you're using a mobile device, if you weren't aware, once you bring up a keyboard, there's always a microphone button so you can speak into it. But I'm going to say, what is the amount due on this document? And then when I hit send, so in this case, it didn't read it by default, but it did give me the answer. Amount due on this document is $50. So I'd have to have some sort of speak selection set up or voiceover to be able to hear that. But it did analyze this document, pull out that information, and tell me about it, which is pretty cool. So it's using AI to do what the volunteers do. Keep in mind it's AI. and I've run into mistakes. So every time I've used this, it's gotten, and the more questions I ask, I inevitably get a question where it answers wrong. But it can do pretty well on basic things like finding stuff like how much this bill is due. Um, Jen mentions these features are also on the magnifier on Apple. Yep, besides asks someone. Yes, yes, this is very true. Um, so that feature is kind of the feature I wanted to focus on with that's Be My Eyes. If you don't use the volunteer, which really the volunteer is, it's a human, they're going to do a lot better job. But AI is there. I wanted to then show another, I keep moving this way, but it's right here. Another app called Ira Explorer. Now this one, I won't go too far into this one because this one actually requires a subscription. So I wanted to just show what it can do. Same idea. You have minutes where you can call someone, but because there's a subscription, I think these people are being paid. So it's a little bit different. I don't know if it's more beneficial or not. I haven't used it, but it does have the AI feature that brings up your camera and you can do the same thing. So I'm going to take a picture really quick of this document. Boop. It took the picture. It's gonna holds the picture up in the right, and then it analyzes it. And then I can do the same thing where I ask a question about it. But the problem with this AI is it's really hard to, for one, I don't have much control over this text that pops up. So that's kind of hard to, I can't even see it here and I have 20/20 vision, but selecting it to speak also didn't seem to work. But you can import other pictures and things like that. And you can do the same thing where you ask questions about it. Um, but then the other app that's similar, a free one that doesn't use any volunteers, it's just using the its own built-in features, is called Envision AI. When I open that one up, it does the same thing, goes straight to the camera. But on the bottom, there are all these different features. So instant text, scan text, library, import, barcodes, describe a scene, which I think is really interesting. You can have it describe what it sees. And so the instant text.
Aklanona Alrukrik, Cooperat, capital N, NSN, capital N, Waniron, NN.
That one doesn't work well for a document like this. It's more for when there's only a little bit of text in front of you. You're trying to read a sign or something like that. So the describe a scene is kind of interesting. You can get a short description, a detailed description, but uh, hold on. I'm gonna take a picture there. So I just had it take a picture. It gave, what was nice about this is there are a lot of audio cues. So when I pressed the describe, it gave me an audio cue countdown for when the picture was going to be taken. And then if I want to ask it a question, it's really easy. There's this bright button called voice, and I can say,
Start speaking.
What am I seeing in this picture? I didn't hear.
Searching for your answer now.
So it does a little AI thing. It thinks about it, and then hopefully it understood what I said. Maybe it didn't.
In the image, there is a computer setup with a large monitor, a smaller monitor, and a microphone. The large monitor is...
So anyways, I just took a picture of what was here in front of me, described it to you. You can ask more questions about it, and it immediately reads it to you, which I really like. You don't have to select to speak. You don't have to do voiceover. It's just built right in, and I think that's pretty valuable. So that one is Envision AI. And lastly, another really popular one is Seeing AI. This is a Microsoft tool. It works on both Android and iOS. By the way, all four of these apps work on both Android and iPad and iPhone. So here, Seeing AI brings up the same.
Electric, Cooperative Orman, Oklahoma. Describe.
So there's an option on the bottom where you can have it read, describe, same thing, or more. So this does a really good job. I found it to be really accurate. In fact, Seeing AI is the only one of these four apps that I tested that hasn't made a mistake yet, using the same documents. So I think that is worth noting. And then, but I wanted to show another cool feature in this one. It's also in Envision, but I skipped over it. And there's under the More section, there's a Find Objects, which is really
Find
interesting.
my things. Preview.
So, oh, here, how do I bring up my things here? There's my list. Okay. There's a list of things. Now, I went through, you could do keys, you could do a phone. I went through and I just took a picture of this mouse. Um, and with this, I have it saved as mouse two. And if I can't find that, I can go to mouse two, and hit find. It brings up the camera.
Looking for mouse 2.
And it's really quiet clicking. But once the camera sees it, it's beeping because it found it. Um, I move the camera away. Now it's not finding it. But it's telling, it knows where it is. It's saying, go back, go back. And there it is. So that I think is a really interesting feature. There is some setup that you have to do, but it walks you through the process with voice control or with audio cues and how to set it up and everything with your object. So it's pretty cool. Envision, really quick, has that feature as well. It's called Find Objects at the bottom. But I couldn't find a way to do customized objects. It just looks for specific things in here. And it did a pretty good job. It found my cell phone. It's just looking for a cell phone in the picture, or these other objects. But I did like how seeing AI, you could create your own specific object, like this is my mouse or this is my specific phone, and it doesn't get it confused with other ones. That I thought was pretty cool. Some questions in the chat? Oh, cool. Oh,
Mickey and then Cynthia.
Supervision Plus. Oh, this is awesome. This is really helpful. Thank you for sharing this, you guys. This is Reboca. I looked at that before, but I forgot to even consider it on this one. I'm less familiar with that one. Awesome. These are really helpful. Keep throwing out those ideas. And guys, take a look at the chat. If you're not already paying attention to it, got some good ideas there. All right. Let's move on to this next section is pretty straightforward. We're going to look at a couple of magnifiers. There's a lot of, oh, ah, I moved my microphone stand. So sorry about that, gang. Magnifiers, there's a lot out there. You can use a handheld like optical magnifier. I decided to look at the three of them that we have in our lending library. And the first one is the Optilec Compact 6. I'm going to switch to this one. It's small. It's about the size of maybe a Game Boy, original Game Boy, if anybody, did I just date myself? It's like a large cell phone is what it looks like. What's that? It's like a Switch, original Switch without the Joy-Con controllers. All right, see, I didn't date myself there. Anyways, and it's a digital magnifier. It has some legs on the back that pop out, and that puts the thing at an angle. So now this screen sits at an angle. I can turn it on with the tactile button on the side. And it buzzes to tell me that it's turning on. So it just vibrated. I could feel that. And then if I take a document, it takes a little while to start up. There, plays a sound letting me know. Almost there. Maybe I should turn on the other ones if there's similar slow starts, but something to consider. It's a slow start. All right, so right now, there's a light that shines from this thing onto your document, and right now it's magnifying everything, and it's also showing it in high contrast. So on here, it's converted just the plain black and white paper to the black text has switched to bright yellow on a blue background. You can change that. Oh, I just took a picture. That's not what I want to do. Okay. So how this one is a little bit different than the other ones that we're going to see, is it also does have an option to read for you what it sees. So when I took that picture, I can hit the play button. It's thinking.
Statement 8. One account number unavailable to.
I don't know if you can hear that. It's really quiet.
I
Um,
have previous bill informer.
but it used a very robotic voice, and here I can move this microphone down a little bit. Did a rather robotic voice, and that's actually.
Statement 8. One account number unavailable to. I have previous bill informer.
And this one is called Optilec Compact 6. I actually have it listed in the corner of the screen here too. Um, but there are some, oh, that just put it to sleep, sorry. Anyway, so this one has that contrast control. You can change the contrast. It's digital. It's really compact and small, and it can also read to you as well. So that's actually one of the main helpful features of this one. If we look at another one of similar size, this is from Humanware. This is called the Explore 8. So this one's a little bit bigger. It looks like, oof, gosh, maybe the size of a Kindle. It's all black. It has the same kickstand in the back that when you pop that open, it turns it on. What I like about this one is it's really easy to use in terms of it has 3 tactile buttons in the front for zoom out and zoom in. It also has this button to switch between the different contrast modes. So I can do plain color, I can do black and white, high contrast, white on black, black on yellow, etc. So I can just skip through here, and then it just zooms in and zooms out. And it actually zooms all the way into 30 times zoom. So you can get really close and look at really small things here. And with this kickstand on the back, it makes it pretty easy to slide and move. So anyways, so this one is called the Humanware Explore 8. Any questions on these two?
Yes, on the Optilec, can you control the speed of the speech?
The speed of the speech, you can absolutely control that. On the Optilec, that speech, you can control the speed in the menu. This is also a touch screen too, which is difficult to navigate because it only has 2 buttons. So you do have to use the touch screen to navigate through there, but in the menus, you can change the speed. This one also, the Humanware, does take a photo too. So you can look straight at that photo, but it just has fewer features than that. You can rotate it and things like that. Or sorry, you can't rotate it, but you can go back to the menu. So that's just a really simple digital magnifier that you can change contrast and zoom way in. Super easy to move around as well. And tactile buttons. And then lastly, for those magnifiers, I got a big one. And I don't necessarily need to go through and demo this one exactly. I'm going to move the camera way up. Hopefully that doesn't tip over. All right, we're good. So this one's called the Cloverbook Lite, and you can see it's very big. Underneath it, there is a spot to put your paper. And the benefits of something big like this is it doesn't move around. It has non-slip. It sits here nice and sturdy, and you know exactly where it is, and you just put the document under there. So it's really, really helpful. And it just generally has a bigger screen. So you can see things even at less magnification than the Humanware. It still is going to look bigger. Has pretty minimal controls on it. It has a contrast button that you can scroll through different contrasts, and it also has a zoom that you can scroll through the zooms. And then there's some menu buttons to change things as well. There is the option on the side. There's focus locking buttons, there's volume control, and you can take a picture, and this one can also read to you as well. So this is, if you need something stationary that's always in its place, this can be really helpful.
Magnify, like how the most they can magnify.
Humanware one was 30 times. And the Optilec was, oh gosh, I forget. That's something I looked up and everything. It's probably on their website here. But So the Optelec doesn't actually, what's that?
2.5 to 30.
2.5 to 30 on the Optelec too. It looks pretty similar. And then the Clover book, it went all the way to it went from 0 to 81, but 81 is not the zoom factor. It was just the magnification number that they gave. But it's a pretty similar zoom to the other ones. 1 to 60? Okay, so that's on the website it says 1 to 60. Thanks, Elizabeth. Oops, I forgot to hit next. This one is called this big one is called the Cloverbook Lite. So those are some digital magnification options. They are not even close to all the options that are out there. These are just happen to be three options that we have in our lending library. If something that you're looking for, uh, if digital magnification is something that you're looking for, we have these available, and you can check them out. Nice little plug there. All right. So let's move on to the last section. And I'm going to bring up all of these real quick so we can see what we're going to be talking about today. Real quick, I wanted to show this thing called an iBill. I wanted to mention it. It's a small handheld thing about the size of a pager. Am I dating myself again by calling it referring to a pager? But it looks like a pager. Anybody who remembers those little guys. And you can get these for free. And in the handout, there's a link to where you can get these for free if you have a visual impairment. And what is it? The Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Yes, thank you. And all it does is you put a US currency note in there, push the button. It's thinking. Why? Did it die?
Better.
I was using it all this morning. Get out of here. No way. Okay, well, on here, let me switch cameras here. Well, you put the bill in there, you push the button on either side, and it says 1 for a $1 bill, 5 for a $5 bill, etc. It does work really well, and it's completely free. It can go in a keychain or go in your pocket. It's kind of nice. But I just wanted to mention that because it's a free thing that you can get access to. Because for some reason, US currency is all the same size. All right. So the next thing I wanted to look at was the Focus 14. I'm just going to show what it is real quick. It's a Braille, they call it a Braille display, but it also acts as a, it's a screen reader, and even a Braille keyboard. So this one is the Focus 14, meaning it has 14 spaces for Braille letters, and there are longer ones that you can get. But this connects wirelessly to a computer or mobile device. You may have seen when I was doing voiceover on the iPad that there is an option when you go into voiceover to use the Braille screen reader for that. When you have it connected, anything the voice reader or voiceover is reading shows up in Braille right here on these little tactile bumps on the bottom. This also has tactile bumps for navigating your iPad. So you can push, there's buttons on the front to toggle between pages, to slide back and forth between screens, and even navigate menus with the buttons on the side. So it's pretty neat. And 8 buttons for typing in Braille as well. It works with iOS, yep, and it works with Android as well. But yeah, these definitely have. This one has worked with iOS for a while. The key is you connect it via Bluetooth, and then you do have to use it in conjunction with the voiceover feature. That's the only way I've been able to get it to work is that voiceover. So that may have also been an issue. So that's the Focus 14. Next, I wanted to look at the Orcam Read. There we go. We got it way over here. The Orcam Read is a handheld device. Here it is. Get this tablet out of here. And it's designed to basically it takes a picture of a document or an item and okay, it keeps talking, so I didn't want to interrupt it. So how this works is it has a little trigger on the, like a little button on the front. It's just has a couple of buttons. And when you press that button, you may not be able to see it on screen, but a laser shows up. Okay, and that laser tells me what it's going to be taking a picture of. And when I let go of the button,
Oklahoma Electric Cooperative. P.O. Box 1208, Norman, Oklahoma.
so now it just starts reading it. And what's nice about this, it's small, it's compact, you just push the button and it just immediately starts reading. However, it does also have some ability to answer questions about your document using a voice command called Smart Read. So if I say, hey, Orcam, Smart Read. So I don't know if you could hear that, but it's making some noises.
Ready.
Now it says ready, and I can ask it, what is the amount due on this document?
Found 3 amounts. First result. Amount to $50.00. Second result. Previous balance $45. Third result. Less payments received $45.
So if you could hear that, it was able to answer some limited questions. You can't just ask it anything like you can with AI. When you get this, it comes with a list of commands that it's able to do, but it can do things like find, and then you just say the words and it will find where that is and it will read the text around it. So it does have a list of commands in its user guide. Oh, it's listening to me. Stop Smart Read.
Read the 7th article.
I'm just gonna turn it off. The other thing I wanted to mention, you may be able to see it here. I'm going to switch to the big screen. In the quiet Orcam. You can get a stand with it, and that's really helpful because then you don't have to worry about aiming it. The stand can be used to know exactly where your document is. You can just feel based on the stand. It sits in the top, you push the button, and it's a great way to make sure you're accurate. And I'm not going to go through a demo, but I'm not going to go through a demo of it, but a lot of people ask about the Orcam My Eye, and the My Eye is significantly smaller because it's designed, it's maybe like the size of a large chapstick. I love comparing it to things. I'm trying to think of maybe a large flash drive, but it's designed to hook on to a pair of glasses. So I have just a standard pair of glasses here and it straps on, and then it can be used kind of the way the Meta AI glasses are. So now it sits on the side of my glasses and I can use it in the exact same way that I use the Orcam Read. It can also do things though, like recognize people. You can teach it who people are, and you can say who's in front of me, stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So I won't go through a full demo of that, but I just wanted to show for form factor, it's small, it's light, and so if you want something more wearable, that's a great option. And then I won't get too far into it because I just want to show a website. We don't have this yet. But I wanted to talk about this thing called the Ray Electronic Mobility Aid. We are going to purchase this for our lending library. Right now, what we have is something called the Buzz Clip, which is now discontinued. You can't buy this anywhere. But how it works is it uses ultrasonic sound waves or ultrasonic sensor to identify how close objects are. You can wear it and then it will vibrate as you get closer to items to help you navigate around. This one I'm excited to try. We haven't tried it yet. We have no idea if it's any good, but it's meant to be held and not worn. And it does have 2 sensors on it, suggesting that maybe it's a little more accurate. I'm not sure, but that's something we're going to get in our library soon, and we'll be able to test it out and see how it works and let you know. And then lastly, what everybody's excited about, I should have left a couple more minutes for it. I just got so excited about the other things, are the Meta AI glasses. So with about 5 minutes left, I want to show how these work. This is the case that they come in. It's a standard sunglass or glasses case. Every time I demo these, the first question that comes up is, can you put prescription lenses in these? And absolutely, you can put prescription lenses in them. But the case is the charger. So with the glasses in here and the case closed, there's a charging port on the bottom of it, and it's also a battery. So if the case is fully charged, it can charge the glasses if their batteries died and you don't have any access to plug them in. You just put them in the case and the case will recharge it, I think 4 times. But anyways, how these work, I'm going to switch to my main camera. You put them on and there are speakers on the side and I can now hear things. The speakers are just built in right to the frames. And I'm going to switch to a different microphone so you guys can hear this. So let me switch real quick to... All right, I'm switching to just a little wireless microphone so I can get it really close. But this can work, it's wearable, and you can just talk to the AI about the scenes and the things in front of you. So I can say, hey, Meta, look and describe.
This is a computer screen displaying a video of a person with a blue banner at the bottom that reads Reading and Wearables. There are also papers and a
Okay, it stopped. Okay, thank you, Meta. So you can also have it do the same thing I did before, where I can have it read documents in front of you. Like, hey, Meta, look and find total balance due.
Yes.
Oh.
To extract information from a document, say, hey, Meta, look and read this document.
Hey, Meta, look and read this document. So hopefully you guys can.
The document appears to be.
I interrupted it. So anyways, it does the same thing. Let's see. There's another thing that you can do called Live AI, which turns this into video mode, and then you can just ask it about things around you. So, hey, Meta, Live AI. Okay, I think it's ready. What am I looking at?
The camera is not yet on. Starting Live AI.
Oh, there it goes. What am I looking at?
You are looking at a computer screen with a video call or recording in progress, and a person is visible on the screen. There are also
Elizabeth,
various.
what does the document I'm holding say?
The document says OEC.
No, that's not right.
The document says prompts for low vision.
It was behind. It was looking at the previous document. So, hey, Meta, end Live AI. Okay, it stopped that. So, you can ask it about, there, it's being a little slow here. You can ask it about the money thing. You can ask it if it's a $1 bill or $5 bill. You have a number of prompts you can do, but you can just, what I really like about it is you can talk to it normally, like a person, and you don't have to memorize commands like you do for the OrCam. And the price is significantly different, so that's something to consider. So that they have a couple of different styles of these glasses. These are the Wayfarer version. The battery lasts, gosh, I want to say like 4 hours plus, but it depends on how much you're using it. So there we have it. Those are all the things I wanted to look at. Does Meta AI recognize people? Yes, it does recognize people. You can teach it who people are. So I could tell it who this person is, Elizabeth, and then later it could say, who am I looking at? And it would recognize the person. It does a really great job of basically just interpreting what's in front of you. So you can use it to navigate around. You can tell it, you can ask it where's the door or the exit, and you just look around and it will tell you where it is in relation to you. You can ask it to read and interpret things. It's pretty robust. And for $300, it's not too bad. And the question in there, Robin asked, what's the name of the device clipped to the glasses? That was the OrCam My Eye. Not to be confused with the OrCam Read. But it works in a very similar way to the Meta glasses, just maybe a little less user friendly, or maybe I should say more learning curve, because you have to learn the commands and what it's capable of. Whereas with the Meta glasses, you can just ask it what it can do, and what you can ask it or tell it what you want to do, and it will tell you how to do it, which is pretty cool. So we're at the end of our time. It's now 3 o'clock. So hopefully, Elizabeth, you can put our evaluation in the chat. Perfect. There's an evaluation in the chat. I'm gonna skip ahead to that. If you do need the certificate of attendance, fill out that evaluation in SurveyMonkey, and be sure when you get to the end to do the link that says click here. Don't hit done. If you hit done, it'll just close you out. So to get the certificate, you have to do that click here. So something to look for. Also, we couldn't cover nearly we couldn't cover nearly enough of the things that I wanted to cover. So if you want to learn more about low vision tools, definitely reach out to us. Patrice, you're asking about the code at the beginning. I'm not sure what that is. Can you elaborate? But also the evaluation should pop up when you exit out of Zoom as well. But we're at the end. Thank you all so much for coming. The survey link, we can put it in the chat again. You may have to scroll up to see it. You'll also see the survey link when you exit Zoom as well. And if you need anything from us, you can email us at stc@pacer.org. There's a link to the downloadable. Oh, the handout. Oh, the handout. Well, I can put a downloadable version of the handout in the chat again. It's way up at the top. If you came late, you might have missed it. But there, I just put it in the chat so you can download it directly. Let me go back to our info page. All right, we are just a few minutes past. What's that?
Issues with the certificate.
Yeah. If you have any issues with the certificate or need something, just email us stc@pacer.org, and we can help you out with that, no problem. And if you just want to learn more about low vision tools, reach out to us. We're always looking to learn about new things too, so share your knowledge with us. It's super helpful. So thank you all again for coming. This was fantastic. I'm glad you all could make it. I hope to see you again at one of our future webinars. We have a few coming up here in September. So check those out on our website, pacer.org/workshops. We got an intro to assistive technology in general, and then assistive technology for communication. And we have one on math that I forgot to put on there, my workshop that I'm doing. All right, everybody. This was fantastic. Thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you again in the next one.